Hey guys and gals, welcome to the channel. Welcome, ciao from Italy. Chris Kiefer here, right there. Ducati Desmo MX-04, just outside of Bologna, Italy. We just got done riding this thing all day. They gave us a day. That's basically what the track conditions are. Typical Italian track. It is raining right now. So just a quick impression. You can check more information out on racerxonline.com, but I just want to give you guys a quick impression of what it's like to ride. So what is this thing like to ride? I heard a lot of the other media talk about today is like, oh, it's a lot different. I don't think it's a lot different. So with the Desmo valve train, what you're getting is a freer rev feeling. Like it is, I'm gonna wipe this off occasionally. So it is just really, it spools up really quick. But the upside to this thing is it freaking revs for days. Like it is like, just keeps revving. So normally when you have a bike that spools up quick, it tops out really quick. You got to shift. You don't have to shift this thing that much. So that is actually a huge thing. So I do like that. It is not an aggressive bottom end. It's very linear feeling, smooth. I will say they have a little bit of work to do with the ECU tune. From 0 to 10% throttle, it does need a little bit of work. It's a little bit rich, but what I found out yesterday while I was touring the facility, which is really cool, was these production bikes, is the first production bike just came off of the line yesterday, and today's the May 26th. They quarantine these bikes for 60 days, 30 days. And what that does is it gives them a little bit of time to ride a couple production bikes to ensure that they have the right setting and they can make adjustments and do those at the factory, which I think is really cool. I don't think other manufacturers do that because they're too big of a company. Ducati is small, they can do that, so that is nice. So for me here, linear, strong pulling power, but it's not a Yamaha YZ gonna yank it out of your hands coming out of something like that. So I enjoy that. I just think we need to clean a little bit up. 0 to 10% is a little rich feeling. I know that a couple other media guys noticed that as well, but I think they will handle that. From what I've heard today, they'll work on that a little bit. Mid to top end, thing pulls very far, very long. Again, linear power, that's the key word here in the engine. I don't get any vibration from the engine. It's a quality feel. I like that. And I know some of you guys are wondering, what about the Desmo engine? Like, look, yes, it revs out and it has a freer spool up, but I did need to actually, within the app, because Ducati has an app and you can screw with your map switch right here, I did have to go a little bit less on engine braking. But the good news is once you turn that engine braking down, it really does make a big difference on the way this bike handles. And it actually helps that 0 to 10% area where it's rich. So I do like that. Another small negative for me, second to third gear shifting up some of these big hills. We can't see it. I'll try to get you guys a shot of the track before we wrap this thing up. But it is a little notchy from second to third. Not a huge deal, but just something I noticed. This engine is a very friendly engine to ride. You are not going to get tired on this engine. There are two maps. There's a green and a red map. The red map is more aggressive, but I don't think it's aggressive at all. I think, honestly, it's quite smooth. If I could compare it to someone or a bike out there, because I know you guys love that kind of shit, I would say it's a little bit like a KTM Power, but smoother and then longer. The Triumph is in there as well, but this has more pulling power out of a corner than the Triumph. And I do think it is a little bit more connected than the Triumph. So that is good news. Once I'm out of that 10% throttle range, super connected. But overall, friendly engine, easy to ride. It's not going to be, oh my God, fast. But once you have that straight line out of a corner, you better make sure you're in this pocket because it will pull you back, and it is a very strong power. It's a 1349 gearing. Some of you guys may want to go to 1350 if you want some more low end, but I think a 1349 is quite good. It's a tighter track here, clay chassis. Look at, there's not a lot of bumps on this Italian track right now, so I can't give you guys a full rundown of what this chassis is like, but I can tell you one thing. I did have to make some adjustments to get some more front end traction. I had to raise or stiffen up the high speed compression to get some more front end bite. Once I did that, easy to turn. once they clean up that rich area from 0 to 10% throttle opening, the bike will be lighter. It did feel a little bit heavy on initial lean, but once I'm in area 2 to area 3 of the corner, very light, good cornering stability, had good front end traction, and it was quite nice. So I can't give you a ton of feedback today for chassis. I'll try to ride some more. We're gonna get these bikes in a couple months. I'll take it to Georgia and I wanna ride the shit out of it, so I'll know more about the chassis there. But it's a very neutral bike. You can rear steer your way around, which I had to a lot in this Italian homeland here, but also has good front end feel. We are at 5 millimeters. I think I would probably drop that a little bit if I'm back at home. And so the chassis is quite nice. Not a lot of vibration. Doesn't feel rigid here. That doesn't mean that it doesn't feel like that later on, but didn't have a lot of bumps, not a lot of square edge here, mostly clay, ruts. There is a couple straight areas that had some waves, some rollers in it, but it doesn't feel rigid. Normally when I have a rigid feeling dirt bike, I get vibration. I don't get that. A couple things I don't like these grips. They are a full diamond, too small for me. I do like the handlebar bend, that is nice. There are plenty of map switches here, so real quick, they have traction control, launch control, and they have 2 map switches, and they have quick shift. So the good news is traction control is probably the best traction control I've felt out of any brand. They explained to us in the meeting that the way they do this is a lot different than other manufacturers. Although it is still AMA legal, it has something to do with the rear wheel, but it doesn't measure off the rear wheel. So for me, I'll get some more information on that later. But in the air, the traction control doesn't upset the motorcycle like other manufacturers' traction controls do. Quick shift is a little bit long. What I mean by that is the quick shift itself, it cuts out too long. I would like to have a little bit shorter of a cutout for that. So I think they'll work on that. And then also the maps do feel a lot different, and there are some significant feeling differences on the track with a green and a red map. So that is plus. I'm not a big launch control fan. I'm not gonna use it. It does work. I measured up with Lupino today. He did beat me off the line, but nonetheless, I just don't care about launch control that much. The clutch is nice. I have no problem with the hydraulic clutch. Overall cockpit area is excellent. The sound of the bike is nice. It's quiet, but yet it sounds nice. Overall quality is, look, it's Ducati. The quality is going to be insane. I have no problem with that. We did have some handlebar mount slippage, so my handlebars did slip down a little bit, but just got to torque that a little bit. We went to 25 Newton meter today from 21, and that got better. But overall, you might hear other media say, oh, it's just a lot different. I don't feel like it's a lot different than other motorcycles, and that is a good thing. I just think it has a nice linear, easy to ride engine package, a chassis that is available for a front end steering rider or a rear end steering rider, and a suspension setting, we didn't get to that, that is quite soft. I think it's going to be a little bit soft. It's a 4.6 rear spring, so that means that linkage back there has a big kick, a rising rate. So, and then the forks, it has a 5.0 fork spring. I still feel like a little soft for me here on flat landing jumps. So I went in 2 today and then went in a quarter turn on the high speed and slowed the shock down, which helped. But I think when I get back home, just for me knowing a little bit, it is going to be a little bit soft. So we'll address that. But otherwise, Showa suspension is nice. The overall cockpit is good. And yeah, very fun day today for me in the Italian homeland. I'll see if I can get you guys a basically the layout. It's like the weed show, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. The flagger probably doesn't know what I'm saying because I'm speaking English. But overall, yeah, great bike, fun. Great looking motorcycle. 1349 gearing, Pirelli tires, 110 rear, quick change air filter. These look like they're rubber, but they're not. They're plastic. Looks like a Honda tip on that. You guys might be talking about, like, it looks like a Honda frame. It does look like a Honda frame in photos, but actually when you're up close, to me, it is. It doesn't look that way. And yeah, it's a blend of materials. It's also cast as well. on the swing arm. They use a couple different types of material from the swing arm, and Brembo brakes, Excel rims. Yeah, great bike. Fun day here. We're gonna break it all down more, but initial impression is they're in the ballpark, people, and I think there's a lot of great things about this bike. So look, I understand a lot about how hard it is to bring a motorcycle to market. First year motorcycle, especially in our industry, in the motocross world, it is tough. I appreciate the passion they have for motorcycles. I spent a full day at Ducati listening to people, listening to the employees, and there's just a lot of passion for motocross and off-road, and I love that. And Ducati is full bore on doing this the right way. They're going to stay in our industry a long time, and as you guys know, I have not been a huge road race guy or on-road type of rider, but from the passion and the quality that I've seen from their bikes, and you guys that ride Ducatis know this, it's going to be a great motorcycle. So look for these motorcycles in July in dealerships, and we're going to talk about it more. You can go to racerxonline.com. There is a couple other things on my YouTube channel that I did you can check out. But man, just a great day, fun day. I appreciate Ducati, everyone out here, for having us. It is a beautiful, beautiful country. You don't get green in the Des, peeps. It has to rain a little bit, I guess, so that's the reason why it's so green. But yeah, great day. Desmo 450. If you guys have any questions about this bike, Chris at KieferInkTesting.com. I'm happy to help you guys. Love doing this stuff. My passion is to help people. So if you guys are wondering about this bike and should I spend the money, who is this bike for? And I guess I can kind of answer that just for the initial part of it. Look at who is this bike for? I would say a guy that has some money, right? But is looking for an easy to ride bike to be different as well. I feel like if you want a Ducati, you want to be different, and maybe you're a little bit scared of 450 power. This power is very easy to use. You have to be careful because it is deceiving, because once you're out of the corner and you're under load or under throttle, this thing moves. I mean, it has 63 horsepower stock, 39.5 foot-pounds of torque. So there's a lot of motorcycle underneath you, but it's delivered in an efficient manner. And that is the key thing when it comes to motocross, is how the power is delivered. It's not as violent as a YZ. It is faster than a KX. It is faster than a Triumph. Not quite as good on low end like a KTM, but mid-range to top end, I would say it surpasses the KTM. So one more thing before we get out of here. Seamless feel. I never got hung up on the shrouds, never got hung up with my boots. And it's just an overall very easy motorcycle. Again, I said that 50 times, but easy motorcycle to ride. Again, not a fan of the grips. If I could complain about one thing, if that's all I'm complaining about, that's a good thing. So good job, Ducati. Antonio Caroli, wonderful job. I saw him out here riding today. God, that guy's good. Insane. I think he can ride a dirt bike. He's pretty good. Alessandro Lupino was here as well. Thank you to him, and yeah, good job to the whole crew at Ducati, and we appreciate you guys, Ducati, for getting in our sport and just giving us another option. Look it, I love it. More motorcycles for motocross. I'm here for it. Not gonna say anything negative about more brands coming in our sport, because we need that right now. So great bike. See you guys on the next video. Again, any questions, hit me up on my email. Happy to help you guys. And ciao, everybody. Ciao. Pizzeria.